Yo, good afternoon, everybody. How you doing? This is your Coach Renz, and I was going to wait. To talk about this show, American Gods. I just really found out about it. I've been binging on these first 8 episodes. I've only gotten to episode 6, or beginnings of episode 6. But after episode 5, I just had to do this video because it blew me away, the concept behind it. And this will also give you a little bit of kind of insight as to when I come back to do videos about the entire series of what type of things are going on in this video. I mean, in this show. So here's the thing about it. Just to give you a little bit of information, American Gods basically is about how these old gods, you know, like Odin and Vulcan and Anansi, and Thoth and Anubis, how they got to America, how they came to America, how when people immigrated to America, how they got here. It also talks about how certain gods died once the people got here. And the fact of the matter is that there are now new gods, and these new gods are based on what people are believing in, giving their faith in. Media, television, internet, the world, things like that. So they're played by characters like Mr. World, or you know, that sort of thing. Now, and like media is called media, that's her name. So, but you got like Odin, who's also Mr. Wednesday. His name is Wotan, you know, is another name for him. And they have this guy Shadow Moon, and I haven't figured out everything about Shadow Moon yet, but it's just a lot of information that I'll be bringing back to you guys in other videos. But I had to do this video because in episode 3, Mr. Wednesday, Odin, has a conversation with Shadow Moon, and they talk about Jesus. And the fact of the matter is, Odin says, oh, there's many Jesus. There's Mexican Jesus, there's white Jesus, there's black Jesus, you know, there's Korean Jesus. He goes through all these different Jesuses, right, that there are, based on the fact that people, whatever they believe the God is what the God will be. And since so many people have so many variations on Jesus, you got different versions of Jesus, right? So he gives that, it's like a small piece in episode 3 where he says that, right? Jump to episode 5. Now I'm telling you, I'm so sorry I didn't do a spoiler alert, but you jump to episode 5. And this is a huge spoiler alert on this part though. So episode 5, it starts out, you have these presumably Mexican people who are trying to cross the border, right? And they're crossing the Rio Grande, and the lady gives them a warning that the water is deep. If you can't survive, don't do it, you know, wait. So they go across, they make it across, and then one dude is drowning, kind of like the apostles on the boat. He's drowning. So the Mexican Jesus comes and he picks the guy up out of the water, because you know the gods have power based on people's belief and prayer in them. So the dude gives like big prayers and everything before he goes across there. Mexican Jesus pulls him out of the water. Then Mexican Jesus is walking across the water, and everything's cool. And the people like, you know, he's like, who are you? And he's like, you already know my name, you know, Mexican Jesus. So you know, it's really good, and you get, because that's how they introduce a lot of the gods that way in this show, where they show how the people prayed and the people believed, and then like Anansi shows up on the slave ship and they burn down the slave ship to free them, because that's what they was praying for. Anansi represents escape as well. So you get, that's how these guys get there. They get to America. That's why it's called American Gods. But that's how they got to America. Now there's this war between the old guys and the new guys, but that's not what we're really talking about. So Mexican Jesus, I'm sorry I got distracted right there, but I gotta come back. So Mexican Jesus is there, right? And like a big time spoiler here. And you may not have caught this if you was watching. If you was watching it, you may not have caught this. So Mexican Jesus is there. Now Mexican Jesus is nice. He's cool. He's not warring. He's good to go, right? So Mexican Jesus, he's there, and then all of a sudden these border militia people show up, you know, and all the little Mexicans, they start running now, because these guys come out and they got these high, you know, AR-15s, M16s, other kind of assault rifles, and just, you know, scope rifles, and they just boom, 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 they just taking out these people who just ran across the border, right? So then, this is where it gets deep. So they shooting these people. Now, Mexican Jesus doesn't do something and stops the bullets or saves the people, nothing like that. No. Mexican Jesus, he puts his hands up and tries to protect this one family, and I mean, it's one lady, and the bullet go right through his hand, right? Kind of like a nail in the hand. Boom, right through his hand. Another bullet, boom, right into his heart. Mexican Jesus fall, he's laid out in the cross position, and then the heart wound is kind of glowing a little bit, and a tumbleweed goes across his head, and you get like the idea of the crown of thorns. So Mexican Jesus, he's dead now, right? He's sacrificed. But all the Mexicans died. But one of the things you may not have noticed is two things that you may not have noticed. And maybe this possibly could be the message. Mexican Jesus gets shot and killed by somebody firing a rifle. The guy firing a rifle, he has on his rifle, it says, "Thy kingdom." He also has a rosary bead in his hand with a cross. And he's a white guy. So he reps white Jesus. Now white Jesus is firing a rifle that is using bullets that are made by Vulcan. Vulcan is the Roman god of war engineering, of making and building, constructing wars. He's also a volcanic god. So his fire, so the gun's firing represents the fire of a volcano, the fire of Vulcan, right? So white Jesus, these guys, they Christian, the Mexicans Christian, the Mexican got Mexican Jesus, but Mexican Jesus is too peaceful. White Jesus got him a merger with the Roman god Vulcan. So here's a couple of things. Let's dive deeper. So they repping white Jesus, and they killing the people who came over the border. They shoot them with guns, and they kill Mexican Jesus. Shoot him in the hand, shoot him in the heart. They appear to be white Roman Catholics, right? And they're firing a gun, "Thy kingdom." They're firing bullets made by Vulcan, a Roman god of forging weapons and volcanic fire. Rome came in, took over Christianity, and whatever peaceful versions that were before, with the Gnostic Christians, the Coptic Christians, the ones who were in, Palestine, that area, the ones who was in what's today Israel, those Christians who were turn the other cheek and that sort of thing were subjugated and killed by the Romans who had Vulcan, the Roman god Vulcan. They could be saying that in the show. That's the first thing that I pulled from it when I saw it. I was like, wow, Vulcan kills. Because if you're not watching it, he fires the bullet, and you see on the back end of the shell that says Vulcan. Later on, they introduce Vulcan into the show, like later on in that episode. So you may not catch it right then, but then your memory should like snap it back. But because I already knew who the Roman god Vulcan was, and I saw the rosary beads and everything, it clicked automatically for me. But that I just love the symbolism and how they're telling the story in this book. I mean, this series, and it is a book. I have never read the books, so I don't know how close it is to it. And there's so many other things about it that we could talk about. But I'm telling you guys, if you haven't watched this show, you have an open mind. You have, you're interested in religion and ancient religions and new religions, which money and media and internet is like your new religions. So if you're into that sort of thing, this will be a very, very good show for you to watch. I'm gonna finish to episode 8. Then I'm gonna have to go back and then watch all of them again and take notes. And then I'll do like some other videos concerning this show and all the esoteric and meanings behind it. It's a very good show. But one of the bigger concepts of the show is the fact that the power of God is based on the power of the human mind and the human belief. The more you believe, the stronger the God. And when and the powers that you believe that God had is the powers that God will have. You see, the Romans believed that through Christianity that Jesus was somebody who would come in and could rectify, who was forceful, who would kill people, who would subjugate you, is how they utilized him. The Mexican Jesus is all nice and oh please stop kind of Jesus, because that's the mindset that the Mexicans have been given concerning Jesus. Even in like Odin, he has powers based on what the Vikings, the Norse who brought him over to America, believed that he would have. So and it's just continuation of that throughout, no matter what it is, because even when the Africans who were on the slave ship, they called for a Nancy showed them how to break free and then gave them the instruction to burn the boat down, because that would be their escape. One interesting fact before I go on this one. So far, everybody who dies they go through the Egyptian process of after death. Right? Their heart is measured on a feather, is weighed against a feather, and then you do like your confessions of Ma'at. So I find that like very intriguing that everybody who has died thus far, that they've shown like their afterlife story, they go and do the Egyptian version of after death. So that was pretty interesting there. So much. I want to say a ton about this show, but I'm gonna have to come back. Because I need to take notes and organize this, because as you see with this video, it wasn't well organized because I just finished watching it. I had a little slow time at work, and I just finished watching it, and I was like, I got to do this thing right now. But then I had like a bunch of customers, so so now it's like everything's jumbled. So let me come back later, and it's gonna be like outstanding, and I think you guys are gonna like it. If you haven't been watching it, go back, start watching it, and really just take some clues. I'm not getting paid by the show, I'm not, or anything like that, so don't think that's the reason why I'm bringing this up. But I just thought that part with how the Christians killed the other Christians and killed the Mexican Jesus with the power of Vulcan, and they were Roman. I just thought that was just brilliant writing and directing. So you guys, if you watch the show, have a keen eye. You have a great day. Remember, your greatness is non-negotiable.